After the Earth becomes uninhabitable in 2092, UTS Corporation builds a new orbiting home for humanity, but only a few wealthy individuals are allowed to get on board. Among the struggling humans is Tai Ho, a young man who is trying to find his lost daughter Su Ni, but still has no clue where she is. After getting disappointed with his failed attempts, Tai Ho ascends to the orbiting home Eden, which mimics the Earth's ecosystem and offers a peaceful lifestyle to its citizens. The CEO of UTS Corporation, Mr. Sullivan, is greatly admired by the people due to his efforts in building an alternative home, and everyone considers him a savior of humanity. Despite all the praise, Sullivan is often questioned about the tons of space debris generated by the UTS factories, but he always assures everyone that his company is taking necessary measures to tackle the issue. He has appointed multiple teams of space sweepers that collect the space junk to clean up the environment. Among the space sweepers is the crew of a space shuttle named Victory. The members include Jang, Tai Ho, Park, and an android named Bubs, who casts the net to collect the junk. Although the group works hard, they never get enough rewards for their efforts. The situation always bothers Tai Ho, and he often argues with the authorities for their unjust behavior, but it does not change anything. The entire crew is facing financial problems as they are unable to repay the debt and have received seizure orders from the court. The frustration always leads to different arguments, but they manage to settle it down knowing that they don't have any other option but to work together. One day, the crew spots an abandoned car in orbit, and inside it they find a little girl named Dorothy. Tai Ho rescues her and the group takes her back to their ship. Initially, Park does not want her on their ship and gets mad at them for bringing her in since he believes that this might cause trouble for them. As they argue over Dorothy, Jang suggests returning her to her parents in exchange for ransom. After learning that she can speak Korean, Tai Ho asks her about her family, but Dorothy says she doesn't have one. She also tries to talk to Tai Ho, but he ignores her and gets back to his work. Soon, the crew learns about Dorothy being a nanobot as the UTS Corporation releases a nanobot informing everyone that an extremist organization, Black Fox, tried to take her and implanted a hydrogen bomb in her hardware. People are asked to be careful because she is considered a lethal weapon that can cause mass destruction in the area. After listening to the news, the group gets afraid of Dorothy and hides inside a cabin while wondering how did they not recognize her earlier. After a while, Tai Ho tries to capture her, but has to drop the idea after she learns about it. Tai Ho then grabs her stuff and runs back inside, where he goes through her bag and retrieves a smartphone. They find out that she's received countless missed calls from a person named Kang Hyanu. Assuming Kang is a member of Black Fox, Tai Ho comes up with a plan to call them to demand ransom. After discussing it with his fellows and finalizing everyone's share of the money, Tai Ho eventually makes the call. Black Fox agrees to pay him $1 million, and both parties finalize to have a meeting at a nightclub in the city. Thinking they might get rich soon, the group celebrates it without knowing that Sullivan has been listening to the entire conversation and has issued orders to track them down. With time, Dorothy gets closer to Park, who helps her with her drawings. Later on, they get ready to visit the club, but a police officer shows up at the ship and interrupts the plan. The crew quickly hides Dorothy before attending to the officer, who informs them that he came over because Park made a call earlier. As the officer starts roaming around the vessel, Tai Ho tries to bribe him. When he reluctantly accepts the money, Jang threatens to send a video of this interaction to the UTS and orders him to get off the ship. After forcing him to leave, the crew arrives at the club where they have to hand over Dorothy. Park, who has developed a soft corner for the little girl, starts having second thoughts about their plan, but Tai Ho tells him to follow the plan. He is only interested in money and does not care about what happens to Dorothy. Soon, he meets a guy from Black Fox and leads him to the rest of the group, and the entire incident is being monitored by Sullivan. Meanwhile, Dorothy wanders off into the club and alerts people as no one expected to see a child there. At the same time, another broadcast from UTS asks people to be cautious around her, while Sullivan's team raids the club, but Dorothy uses her powers to shield the group from the attack. Upon returning to the ship, the crew members have a fight and they blame each other for their failed attempt. Learning that they got tracked by the smartphone, Jang destroys it and suggests the group should rely on radio signals for further communication with the Black Fox. Jang, who heard the guy at the club calling Dorothy Kat Nim, questions her about it, and Dorothy confirms it's her Korean name. Meanwhile, UTS announces the inauguration of their new colony on Mars that is formed by using the super plant which they call the Tree of Life. While in the meeting, Sullivan orders his team of scientists to spread the propaganda that the superplant only grows on Mars, so everyone believes there is no hope for life on Earth. On the other hand, the crew takes the ship to a maintenance hangar, where a space sweeper, Pierre, tries to impress Jang, but she does not pay any attention to him. While they wait for the ship to get repaired, Dorothy and Tai-Ho finally talk to each other as he helps her take care of her plants. And soon they both start selling tomatoes to make some money. After returning to the ship, Bubs puts makeup on Dorothy while talking about everyone's past. He tells her that Park used to be a wealthy cartel leader but has a good heart as he always donated most of his earnings to help poor kids. Bubs also tells her that he is a former soldier but he is currently collecting money to get his skin graft. Upon her question about Tai-Ho, Bubs reveals he used to be a child soldier working for UTS. Once, he and his team raided a non-citizen ship and killed everyone on board, but he found an infant still alive in the arms of his dead mother and adopted her. Tai-Ho took care of her like his real daughter and named her Su-Ni. After learning that she became deaf in the attack, he promised to take care of her and assured her that he will be the world's best father. Su-Ni rekindled the humanity in him, and he refused to kill anyone for the company. As a result, he got kicked out of the force and his citizenship was revoked. After a year of hardships and hopelessness, Tai-Ho started gambling and ignored Su-Ni. One day, she was walking around in the area when a pile of space debris collided with the station and she drifted away into space. Devastated, Tai-Ho reported her missing and requested the authorities to search for her. They did not prove to be any help as they demanded a large sum of money which he could not afford because his assets were frozen by the UTS. Since then, Tai-Ho is on a mission to make enough money to pay the recovery team so they can find his daughter. After Bubs shares Tai-Ho's emotional story, they get another call from the Black Fox members who invite them to meet at a different place. As the group finalizes the details, Park once again tries to stop them by saying that the Black Fox might hurt Dorothy, but Tai-Ho makes it clear he is only looking to collect money and is not interested in Dorothy's well-being. While they argue, Jang goes through Dorothy's notebooks and learns about her. Soon after, Dorothy goes into the washroom, but a masked man grabs her. Tai-Ho and Park hear her screaming and rush to help her, but are ambushed by a group of masked people. Being a trained fighter, Park instantly defeats them before the crew takes them back to the ship, where they learn it's a group of space sweepers who secretly work for Black Fox. The group leader, Karam, discloses that Dorothy is a real human and is the daughter of a nanorobotic scientist, Dr. Kang. He further tells them that Black Fox is not a terrorist organization, but an environmental group that has been keeping a close eye on the Mars program. He reveals that the Earth becoming uninhabitable for humans is all part of a UTS plan and there's no truth in it. While talking about Dorothy, he informs them that she was born with a congenital illness that destroyed her nerves. Since there was no cure, Dr. Kang injected her with nanobots and it turned out to be a miracle. Dorothy was able to walk again and developed amazing healing powers, along with the ability to communicate with other nanobots. According to Karam, Dorothy is the only hope to bring life back to Earth. The UTS CEO Sullivan initially used Dorothy to terraform Mars, but now he wants to make her disappear so no one finds out the truth. While talking about Sullivan's plans, Karam mentions that he cannot kill Dorothy because she gets protection from the nanobots that can only be killed if they are heated above 200 million degrees. Such high temperatures can only be achieved by the detonation of a hydrogen bomb. There is one at the UTS factory, and they plan to take Dorothy there to turn her into subatomic particles. The impact of the explosion is expected to destroy the factory that will crash down on Earth and might kill more than 3 billion people, but Sullivan does not care about the collateral. While Karam is spilling the facts, Sullivan's space guards attack the ship, but the crew members help Karam and his team to flee through the back door. Jang and Park go out to keep them engaged while Tai-Ho tries to get Dorothy out through the ventilation duct, but they are spotted by a robot, Officer 01. The robot attacks Tai-Ho, but he keeps struggling and finally manages to get back on the ship. As the ship flies away, they detect a malfunction, but before they can do anything, they get an alert about a nanobot infestation. The nanobots start consuming the ship, but Dorothy communicates with them and sends them off. Meanwhile, UTS continues to release broadcasts about the crew members and holds them responsible for the massacre at the club, as well as the shooting in the factory. It is revealed that Jang was adopted by UTS through its Genius program and did multiple inventions for the company. She later developed a hatred for the company's ideology and started a pirate organization that even tried to kill Sullivan. Later on, all of her crew members got killed during a failed assassination attempt, so she got an eye transplant and started a new life with a false identity. The information about Park and Tai-Ho is disclosed as well, and they are presented as criminals who fled the Earth to escape from the punishment. On the ship, Jang and the group wait for a call from Dr. Kang and decide to head down to Earth if he does not show up. Park does not want to wait as he fears the space guards can get there at any moment, so he suggests beginning the journey now, but they disagree. After a while, Karam and the group come back and bring Dr. Kang, who reunites with his daughter. After Dorothy mentions their compassionate behavior, Dr. Kang thanks the crew for taking care of her. While everyone is emotional over this reunion, Tai-Ho takes Karam aside and demands the money which he previously agreed to pay. Before Karam can go back to his ship and bring the money, they are attacked by UTS robots. The bots kill many people, including Dr. Kang, and kidnap Dorothy, but Tai-Ho and Jang cannot do anything except watch helplessly. While the crew is in disarray, Sullivan comes over and offers double the amount to Tai-Ho if he lets go of Dorothy. After Tai-Ho hesitantly accepts the offer and takes the money, Sullivan drops all charges against him and resumes his citizenship. Tai-Ho offers Park to take his share, but he declines and decides to go in search of Dorothy even if it gets him killed. Tai-Ho brings the money to the recovery team, who then hand over Soo-Nee's possessions to him. Tai-Ho looks at his daughter's stuff, including her crayons and a notebook in which she had written that she wants to be just like her father. It moves him, and he regrets taking money for Dorothy. He changes his mind and takes the money back to the ship where he joins his team before they leave to find Dorothy. After gearing up, they head toward the factory where Sullivan's team has strapped Dorothy to a hydrogen bomb that is about to explode any minute now. Tai-Ho unties Dorothy, but Jang loses hope after learning that they cannot defuse the bomb. She tells him that the only way to save Dorothy is to take her out of the range of Krypton waves, which is about 5,000 kilometers. As there is no other way, Tai-Ho decides to take Dorothy out of the range because it's their only chance at saving her life. As they discuss their options, the robot officer 01 once again attacks them, but Park fights back and gets her off the ship. Since they are about to get ambushed by the drones from UTS, the crew thinks of a plan. Using the emergency lines, they contact other space sweepers and urge them to help Dorothy because she is the only hope for life on Earth. Everyone responds to the request and joins the fight against the UTS drones. Meanwhile, the audio of Sullivan talking about his real plans of destroying the Earth gets leaked and shocks everyone because they always considered him a savior. As the drones get closer, Jang gets outside and turns on the booster engines to push the ship out of orbit. Sullivan eventually gets hold of the ship and orders the group to hand over Dorothy, but Jang reveals she was never with them. It is disclosed that the group sent her off with other space sweepers and took off the hydrogen bomb onto their ship to take it away from the Earth and save billions of lives. The bomb eventually explodes, but the group has already managed to get it out of range. The trio thinks they will die soon, but Dorothy communicates with the nanobots who save them. Eventually, UTS releases an apology and pledges to help in the rehabilitation of the Earth. Meanwhile, Dorothy helps Tai-Ho have a final conversation with Soo-Nee, and he finally finds him closure after saying goodbye to her. The crew adopts Dorothy and takes care of her, while Bubs gets his skin graft and Jang gives up on drinking. The group gets back to space sweeping, but often visits the Earth, where Dorothy helps bring life back by using her miraculous healing powers. If you enjoyed that recap, I got a good feeling you'll enjoy this one too. Click on the video on your screen for more.